Today's best sports shows. Tune in for the biggest personalities on the biggest stories, and don't miss us on The Herd weekdays at 12 Eastern. Catch it all right here Monday through Friday on FS1.
Cold and flu season. Vicks Sinex nasal spray works up to 12 hours. Use as directed. I once ate half a jar of it when I was a child. Don't do that. If you're sick, you give me a lot of people, cold, flu, a lot of bad temperatures out there.
How old were you?
34. I think I was like 6. You know, I was a young child. I was experimenting, back then. Very experimental with the Vicks Sinex nasal spray. It came in a jar back then.
This is great for this weather. Well, in California, it's 60 degrees. But
here's something that's been thrown out. I am not suggesting that it's true, nor did I come up with this. Nick Wright, who works at this network, feels that Danny Ainge made a huge gaffe recently. Now, it should be noted, the NBA has been very outspoken against Donald Trump. Steve Kerr, coach of the Warriors, trolls him regularly on social media. Greg Popovich trolls him regularly. LeBron James trolls our president regularly. It's an anti-Trump league. They've been outspoken about his policies. They don't want to go to the White House. Like it or not, that I'm just laying it out for you. So Danny Ainge said this recently. He was talking about LeBron, and he said this.
His career's not over. I'd just like to, why he's saying that, I don't know. Maybe he thinks that sells. Maybe he's taking the Donald Trump approach, trying to sell himself. I don't know.
Okay, Nick Wright suggested it was a big deal. Surprised more folks didn't seize on it. It's not an exaggeration to say it was one of Danny Ainge's biggest mistakes of his entire tenure. I will say the reason this to me is interesting is because I think Joy can attest to this, having worked with me for 6 months, I don't believe in coincidences, and I don't believe in fate. Most things are scheduled. Most things happen for a reason. If you get hit by a truck, not to be anti-religious, but you basically walked into traffic. I don't think anybody upstairs controlled it. You should probably look both ways. I don't believe in coincidences in business. I've worked at multiple, companies. Things are released. Leaks happen because people want leaks to happen. And Kyrie Irving, before Danny Ainge said that, was all Celtics. I'm going to resign. I'm very happy here. Danny Ainge said that. And who is the team Danny Ainge hates more than any other? Lakers. Who's the player who's been the personal roadblock to his Celtics last 6-7 years? LeBron. And yet after that Trump comment, Kyrie Irving starts talking Celtics, Lakers, LeBron James, the one thing that would get under Danny Ainge's skin. Secondly, Anthony Davis. Story comes out this week. Anthony Davis comes out and says, I am not interested long-term in New Orleans. Now, within a day or two, 6-7 teams, Knicks, Raptors, Bucks, Lakers, all leaks, they're all interested. Yet one team, remember who represents Anthony Davis, Rich Paul, LeBron's friend, Clutch Sports, a story leaks that Anthony Davis, the Celtics, is not where he wants to go. So I'm supposed to believe Kyrie, who was all in on Boston, post-Ainge Trump quote, just happened to be interested in LeBron and the Lakers, two major arch nemeses to Danny Ainge. And Anthony Davis, of all the organizations, he's more interested in Toronto and Milwaukee than he is Boston. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's interesting.
It's something to discuss, but I feel like it's a bit old. LeBron is very, very vocal when he feels like especially when it comes to Trump things. So I think this is settled as far as LeBron and Ainge goes.
You do think it is?
Yeah. Now other players may be looking at it like, because we know what Dan Gilbert's support of Trump was rumored to have a big part in why LeBron wasn't comfortable there anymore and had a huge problem with it. So other players looking at it, maybe, but
it just feels like it could be something. Something. Not everything.
Well, when it comes to NBA free agency, We will follow any breadcrumb available. We will look at follows. We will look at likes.
You and I are like birds. We're just trying to find breadcrumbs.
Everything means something. I don't know how much there is to this, if anything at all. But it's NBA free agency, so that's how we look at it.
Don't let your age beat you. Want to feel stronger, younger, more energy? Go to MDrive. Buy MDrive.com. Code HERD. 20% off. Buy MDrive. You can also get it at Walgreens and Walmart. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
So Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk led the greatest show on earth to a Super Bowl victory over the Titans 19 years ago in Atlanta. And this Sunday in the same city, Jared Goff will try to deliver the franchise's first title since that game. And Kurt Warner appeared on the Dan Patrick Show yesterday and offered Goff some advice before the biggest game of his life.
One thing I would tell him is that you have to realize this game is like every other game when you get between the lines. I look back at my 3 Super Bowls. The first one, we were ahead 16-0. It was tied 16-16 in the fourth quarter. Just talked about the one in 2001. We were down 17-3, tied up at 17-17 with 2 minutes to go. Every game, even big games like this with high stakes, they have their ebbs and flows. Momentum shifts very quickly, and that's what I would tell him is you got to ride the waves of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Kurt Warner was good. I miss Kurt Warner. He was good.
Yeah, he was. We played some sound of Goff earlier. He's great at the podium. He's a very, what they described him as California cool. He's a very consistent, emotional guy.
He's got the traits I like, is that the world's, that New Orleans game, the world was imploding around him. And Goff was just sort of centered in. That's why I like my Russell Wilson. I like my Jared Goff. I like my Andrew Luck. I think
the Boar Four.
The Boar Four. I like people that in the face of chaos can bring it down. I don't want emotion at the quarterback position. I want talent. I want coachability. I want maturity. I'm not, I said Cam and Baker would wear me out.
I don't mind a lift in excitement and energy.
Yeah, pump your fist.
I just don't like it on the other end.
Right.
I don't like the down body language. Like, you can never allow the circumstances of the game to overwhelm you emotionally in a negative way. Now, in a positive way, yes, because there's too many waves, there's too many changes throughout a game.
Well, you're gonna pump your fist.
Leader.
Yeah,
like, you have to be consistent, and that's a big part of what the Patriots preach. This is just another game. Don't look at it as the Super Bowl. Right. Look at it as another game, and you won't get nervous and ride those emotions. So Todd Gurley is one of the NFL's most devastating weapons, although as of late it's been a little interesting for him. C.J. Anderson has bulldozed his way to at least 120 yards on the ground in 3 of his past 4 games. And now, according to Mike Freeman, quote, an NFC head coach feels he's a better fit for how the Rams' offensive line blocks. Teams who have game plan against them say Anderson doesn't need clean lanes to be effective, and defenses have a harder time tackling him because of his physicality than they do Gurley. I think this is a little bit of recency bias with C.J. Anderson.
Yeah, I don't buy this. I like C.J. Anderson. I actually do. I just think, it's like LeBron's off for a month, and suddenly I'm supposed to believe that it's Anthony Davis's team. It's like, I'm sorry. God, can you imagine a marriage worked that way? You'd never go on a business trip. You're out the door, everybody forgets your 15 years of marriage.
Exist. I mean, Todd Gurley, he's good. He is great. And this is, to Todd Gurley's credit, this is the one space that keeps me worried about the Rams. I don't know what to expect from Todd Gurley.
I totally agree. If you told me Gurley was healthy and would get 20, I don't even care the yards. If you said Gurley's going to get 19 touches, I'd be like, all right, I'm good. We got a great Super Bowl. If he's on an exercise bike in the second quarter, I think the Patriots could win in a blowout.
And that's not a knock on C.J. Anderson. He's been huge for them. He's been instrumental, but it's just, you need your stars in the biggest game. Finally, the Patriots have been on this very strange nobody believes in us press tour all year. Let's take a listen to Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, and Tom Brady on just a little bit of that content.
Yeah.
You're too old! You're too old!
I'm too old. You're too slow. We got no skill players. We got no defense. We got nothing.
We're still here! We're still here! We're still here!
He looks, I will say this.
It's borderline embarrassing, Colin. They're going to their 9th Super Bowl. They have 5 Super Bowl rings.
Isn't it weird, though? Brady just physically has not aged.
That's what eating good and taking care of your body does.
Who can do that, though?
Well,
who can go a football season without a beer?
Well, speaking of beer, that's what the story is about. The Boston-based Sam Adams Brewery is embracing this whole "we're too old, we can't make it happen anymore" narrative. So they've made a limited release goat-themed beer, and it says "we're too old." I believe it says "we're too old" or "we're still here" on it. Yeah, too old, too slow, still here. That is the what the side of the can says.
Yeah,
goat
beer.
Old, too slow, still here.
Goat beer is not bringing me to the bar.
I'm sure that there will be a whole crowd of willing beer drinkers there to consume that. The first 199 people in honor of the 199th selection will be able to get it. It's a whole thing. They've truly put a great twist on it, though.
If I told you can't have any alcohol for our spring rating book and it will help the show, could you abstain?
Yeah.
Oh God, I couldn't. Really?
I mean, I would not be happy about it. How much will it help the spring rating book?
8%.
Actually, I have follow-up questions. I'm sorry.
8%.
I answered too quickly. 8%?
8%. You'll be so focused and clear that
Do I get a bonus?
Not necessarily.
No, then no. No, thank you.
What's in it for you?
I mean...
Hey, I would have asked the same question. If you told me I get ratings would go up an extra 8% next fall if I didn't have a beer for the entire football season, I'd have to think about that. I'd have to look at my bonus structure. I don't know. It's a very good question.
There's important follow-ups to that.
Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for